We're gonna start praying. Holy Spirit, take control.
Holy Spirit, activate. Holy Spirit, activate.
Are you Christian?
What is up, y'all? It is your host, Rennie, and you're listening to another episode of the Call Me Crazy podcast. The way you said that? No, I'm not. I grew up Catholic, but I don't practice any religion.
Okay, why? Is there a reason why?
There's no particular reason why. I just feel like it's not what I need to guide me.
Oh, why is that so? Okay, I thought this is a conversation.
Why is that?
I like to ask. I love to know. I mean,
I feel like things are a little too black and white for me.
Okay.
I definitely live in the gray, you know? Like, I don't think, you know, some cultures think that tattoos are sinful. I have tattoos, right? Some religions think that, you know, homosexuality shouldn't happen. I personally don't have a problem with it. I always say, if you're doing something in your life that has no effect on me, like, why would I ever say anything? You know, like, I can't get behind, like, oh, if there's more gay people, you know, more people will be gay. No, like, I just don't think that. So for me, I understand why people believe. It's just not something that I subscribe to personally.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've ever asked you.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to know.
But I'm always, you know, if someone ever wants to pray, if, you know, anyone wants to go to church or anything like that, I'm never opposed.
Okay.
It's just not something I seek out for myself. Who knows? Maybe I need Jesus.
You do, girl. You do. We all do. Okay.
So this is Bukki, Bucatini, as I like to call her. So I met Bukki back in 2021. 2021. We're already in 2023 now, so it's actually pretty crazy. We've been friends for a while now. I found Bukki, which is such on Instagram. It's such a full circle moment because I found you on CT Blogger Babes, which is exactly what it sounds like. Connecticut's Blogger Babes. It's a page on Instagram that reposts Connecticut bloggers, you know, most of them being women just naturally. And so when I was looking for models to shoot for one of my clients, I found Bukki. She's so beautiful.
Thank you.
And they were like posting her a lot. And she had quite a large following at the time. It's not as much as she has now, but it was still big. And I was like, you know, my motto is always the worst that they could say is no or just not answer. You know, maybe you would have just stayed in your request box, whatever, you know? So I just sent out a bunch of DMs and maybe like 4 or 5 DMs. You answered and Sarah answered. And so our friend Sarah, I also met through CT Blogger Babes. But just the other day, I finally met Noni, which is
the owner of
the page. And I was so delighted when you told me that Noni was black because things in the influencer space are very whitewashed. A lot of these opportunities and, you know, just the platforms in general are dominated by whiteness, which is fine. Like, you know, I have white friends, white family. I harbor no hate, but it's just the truth. Black creators, brown creators are treated less than. So when
we actually put in the work. And our followers, our audience, they trust that, you know, whatever we're recommending or whatever we're putting, like, they go hard for us. They go all out for us, but there isn't like, so they're loads of opportunities out there, but most times usually like streamlined to so many white influencers, and we actually put in so much work.
Yeah, just like everyone else. And, a lot of people don't take what we say lightly. I mean, I don't know if you saw that guy Keith who reviews food. There was a dying business in Las Vegas, and he reviewed it, and he was like, I was trying to call them to ask them something about like my post, and the phone was off the hook because there was literally a line.
Wow.
Bukki, a line. And he's a Black creator. He's a Black TikTok creator.
Yeah.
So very influential people. And so just knowing that she was behind the brand, and not only was it a page, but it was an agency to help creators like you. I loved it so much. So yeah, I don't know if I already said it, but I met her because I photographed one of her events. I collaborated and sponsored the photography.
So as a matter of fact, she posted on her stories recently. I don't know if I told you about it, and she was like, can you recommend photographers? So I put in your name.
Yes. So she is so super sweet. She's about to have a baby. Congrats to her and her family. But yeah, that's how Bukki and I met. What was our first shoot?
It was in Norwalk. And I wore this orange dress. It was even raining that day. That was the first time we actually met each other. Stamford. Yeah, Stamford. Yeah, that was the first.
Yeah.
And it was sometime I think it was in May, maybe April or May, because I had just come into, I don't know if you want me to go into that right now, like just a brief.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, how do I start? My name is Bukki.
Bukki, what's your full name?
So, my full name is Oluwabukola. I am Nigerian, and Nigeria, we have so many tribes, but the three major tribes are Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba. So I am from the Yoruba tribe. My surname is Ogunyemi. My middle name is Oluwabukola. That's my Yoruba name, and then Rebecca. Rebecca is my first name. That also happens to be my Christian name. So Oluwabukola means God added to my wealth. God will always add to my wealth. Yeah. So I was born in Nigeria, and then when I after high school, I went to Ukraine to pursue my bachelor's. I studied medicine in my undergrad. So I'm an MD, and then I graduated in 2016. After that, I went back to Nigeria. Yeah, I just wanted to work and just see how things are done, like in medicine in the tropics, and just, whatever it was. So while I was doing my internship, my medical internship, of course, we were like, seeing patients and stuff. And I just, that was when the idea of pursuing my master's degree came about. And I was like, okay, what would I do? I love to care for people, anything that has to be like people, trying to make sure that, they are fine, just trying to prevent diseases and stuff like that, just trying to care for people when they're like most vulnerable, period. And I think that was one of the reasons why I decided to pursue medicine. I'm sure people will think that because in Nigeria, if you guys don't know, we do not joke with education. Right? And people usually say, from the Yoruba tribe, they go all out when it comes to education and stuff like that. So I'm the first 5 children. So I decided to do my master's after seeing that, people, I feel like more focus needs to go into, educating people on, so many things, like, basic washing of hands can actually prevent certain diseases. Just trying to ensure that I was much more interested in focusing more on prevention, right, than aftercare, which is what, medical doctors, so medical doctors, so you have to teach your patients, talk to them, counsel them, or whatever it is and stuff. But I was just, okay, I think I need to do public health, right? It's like much more, it's still me, having things to do with people, but much more on a larger scale, yeah. And then I decided that, I wanted to come to, so I think my dad asked, where do you want to go to? I said I wanted to come to America.
Wait.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I think you should actually talk about, so I can tell you how I came to America, and then how, you found me on Instagram.
Yeah, we're going to go back full circle. So Cause
Sorry.
she skipped over Ukraine like it's a hop, skip, and a throw away.
Sorry.
No, I'm kidding. But it just, not everyone has traveled such lengths in their life. So you breeze by it because you're a travel babe. You travel all the time. You know, you live this life. But for some people, they haven't even made it out of their hometown. You know, so you graduated high school in Nigeria. And so did you go straight from high school? Did you take a year off? Like, what did you do?
So I graduated high school and then just if you see my pictures, if you see me, I'm small, I'm tiny. So my parents just felt that the first child, I think she's just like, stay back home. Not necessarily stay back home, but they just felt okay, I was trying to write exams to like some other universities in Nigeria, like during that period. I was like, let me just, stay back at home. And then, because I graduated high school, I think when I was 14 or 15. So I was kind of like, really young and stuff. And then I now decided to, go to Ukraine because we knew someone that had a brother in Ukraine that just said, and I've always wanted to study medicine. When you're growing up and they're asking like children, what would you like to be in future? Like everyone that knows me, I've always said medicine. Medicine. Honestly speaking, even when opportunity came up for me to do dentistry, I just was like, medicine. This is like medicine, and I'm the kind go get like when I want something, that's what I want. I don't like I might not know how it's gonna come about. Like I really believe in like speaking things until they come, like they manifest, and I'm just like, people that are doing these things, they don't have two heads. Just like, and I believe that if you want something, you can actually. So I've always said, medicine and stuff. So when someone told us about, Ukraine and everything, my parents like looked into it. My dad was actually so worried, like she's so tiny. How is she gonna go to Ukraine herself? But I feel like being the first child has really helped me navigate like this life, because like I said, I have 4 siblings. We're 5, right? You're responsible for your siblings. Like there's just being the first child and being a woman, being a girl, like it's just in your mind. You want to care. It comes naturally. You want to handle things like instinct. Yeah. So my mom used to say stuff like, oh, like when I used to go to school in like primary school and stuff, like I'm making sure like my siblings, children would just go and play. Their lunch packs would be everyone. My mom said I used to make sure that my siblings, everyone always came back home with what they left home with and stuff. My father maybe. And parents know their children very well, so maybe he had seen that. Not maybe he had seen. I'm sure he already said, he just already knew that. Okay, no matter she might be tiny, but I'm sure she'll be fine. And because we had someone also in Ukraine at that point in time, so I processed everything. It was kind of like just straightforward. I didn't have to do like pre-med or do some courses before going into medicine or whatever it was. And so it was for 6 years. Medical school was for 6 years. Every summer, I always went back to Nigeria, just to see my family and stuff. And Ukraine was so cold. I was in a state called Ternopil. Not the capital of Ukraine, though, but Ternopil. Ukraine is so cold. Like, Connecticut is learning. To be honest, is learning, because I even remember that when I went for my visa interview to come here in America, when they were asking me questions, and the person asking me questions just said, when he was going to approve my visa, he said, I would have warned you that Connecticut is so cold, but you have nothing to worry about, because if you studied in Ukraine, then Connecticut is it's really nothing.
I think it's something. So I can never go to Ukraine.
It is cold.
I always say, once it hits under 60 degrees Fahrenheit, I am shivering. Listen, my ancestors were taken from somewhere warm. My Asian side and my black side. So I'm not supposed to be here. Cold and pale.
I don't like cold either, but I mean, this life, you don't know where God is. Like, things happen beyond, and I'm honestly so happy I went to Ukraine. And when I was traveling to Ukraine, I went by myself. My parents never.
How long was the flight?
So from Nigeria to Ukraine, so I always had a stopover in, I think, Istanbul, Turkey. So it was like 7 hours.
No, not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. Yes, I'm so glad I went to Ukraine because I feel like Ukraine really shaped me, and I learned maybe not so much about myself because of course when you're in school, like undergrad, you're still learning. You don't know. Of course, I have much more experience. Like there's certain things I know now that I did not know then. But of course, I met like really good people. Some of my best friends now from Ukraine, and yeah, it was an experience, to be honest.
Is it diverse in Ukraine?
Well, not so much, but I feel like we international students actually make it, diverse. Like because there are people from, students from India, students from, Africa. Africans are always looking for ways to leave, Africa and stuff. And I really cannot blame us. There are people from other, countries as well. So I think I mean, Ukrainians, some of them can actually be racist. But the city, the state I was in, it wasn't so bad. I never experienced racism.
Because you were like on a campus. It's different.
Yeah. But we learned how to, interact with people. It was okay. They were actually like pretty cool in my state. And yeah.
So Ukraine was 6 years. What age was that?
From 2010 to 2016.
2016. And so how old were you when you finished in Ukraine?
22.
22. That's so young to have done 6 years of college. Like, that's crazy to me. So after that, did you take a break in between, or you were immediately like, let's go to the States?
What break? Guys.
Bukki, I am not a school babe.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I'm a career babe.
Guys, studying medicine, right? Especially when you're just starting out your journey, your career. You can't, how do I put it? You can't, except maybe something happens. You can't just say you want to just take a break. There is a process. You want to do your internship. So for me, for me, I was just fresh out of, med school. What did I want to do with my life next? Yeah. So I decided that I wanted to go back to Nigeria. I wanted to write the Nigerian exam to enable me practice in Nigeria, like I mentioned before. So that was a whole process as well. So when I was done with medical school, I just went back straight to Nigeria. Started prepping for the exam. So the exam happens, I think maybe once or twice a year, and in specific centers. It could be like different states. So when I wrote mine in 2016. Yeah, I think it was in November or October. So mine was in northern state. Yeah. Anyway, so I wrote that exam and then I passed. So when I passed the exam, the next step for me was to get an internship. Internships are highly competitive, right? So if you you want to make sure you get an internship, so you could like move on with your life, yeah. And I'm a babe as well. So I did that. I started working. I did my internship for 1 year where I rotated in 4 different departments: obstetrics and gynecology, internal medicine.
And are you blogging already?
Yeah, so exactly. So I'm so grateful for Ukraine because that was where I started my whole content creation journey.
Oh, really?
Yes. So I started blogging and fun fact, when I was in school, right, I used to I'm not lying. I know some people will come and say, how some parents will be like, oh, when I was your age, I always came first. So we'll be like, so who always came last? Who always came second and stop? When I was in school, when I was in Ukraine, people that know me, I was quite active. I was in the drama department in church. I was in choir as well. And then active social life as well. And I used to win most fashionable, like something called fashionista. There was even a time I won, most fashionable international student. And bear in mind that back then, 2013, from 2010 to 20, what did I really know so much about fashion? But guys, I was killing it. And as a matter of fact, there was a blog that used to repost me. It was called Black Girls Killing It. But even with my Black girls killing it, man. So even with my, whatever fashion, I know fashion has really evolved and stuff. I was just always doing that. And then I was like, people used to ask me questions so I've actually been on Instagram from way back, even before so many people joined Instagram and stuff. And then at some point I lost my account got hacked. Yeah. And then I had to like, start building and all of that. So anyway, so people used to ask questions like, oh, where did you get your stuff from? I wasn't working in Ukraine, right? My father was the one. I was so tiny, yeah. So I'll buy my things. I mean, one thing I've always been, I knew how to like combine colors, right? And my mom would tell me that, back then if she got me stuff that I didn't like, for example, I think it was Christmas period and she got me this dress that had puffy sleeves and I was really crying because I was like, I don't want to wear a dress. So like I just had in mind, or like like I said, if I want something, if I don't want it, I don't want it's going to force me, right? So people say asking me questions or like, how do you combine this? Where'd you get this from? So I just sat down and taught myself. And then I had a friend that was blogging there, her name was Bukki as well. I mean, I kind of liked what she was doing, but I knew you had to, like, you have to be consistent. If you want to be serious for yourself, if you want to like inspire people, if you want to reach out to so many people, like you can't just start. And I don't like to start something if I know I'm not going to push, if I'm not passionate about it, because I believe like the passion is something that's going to push me even when I really do not want to do it, right? So I thought about it like, I was like, okay, I'm going to start blogging because that way I'm able to like reach more people that are beefing me, more people that cannot even come out to ask me that, where'd you get your stuff from? And that's when I post on my blog. My blog is called Pages by Bukki. So when I post on my blog, people that are not even friends with me, they can like view my blog. And then I came up with that name with my friends, two of them, I think Stephanie and Debbie back then. And why I chose Pages by Bukki was I just felt like it was going to be a new journey for me, right? It was going to be like a book. Yeah. And every blog post will be a page, like a page in the book. Like, and I plan to, share my journey over the years from med school. I wasn't even sure that I was going to be in America because I just started then. I didn't know where life was going to take me after medical school. Yes, I just was doing my thing. And that's how I started with like, Pages by Bukki. And I had this friend that used to like take pictures of me. And so they were still using BlackBerry. And then along the line, iPhone came out, we using iPhone 6S or 4S and stuff like that. And basically that was just how it started for me. And then when I got back to Nigeria after I finished my internship and stuff, what was next? I wanted to, there's this compulsory program you do in Nigeria. It's like you're serving your nation, so it's like you're giving back to your nation. Of course you get paid.
I saw those pictures. I was like, Bukki, is this a movie set? What is happening?
The thing is,
you have to send me the photos so I can put them up.
The thing is, because you're a medical doctor, right? It was gonna count as work experience for you as well, because even though you're serving your nation, you will still be posted. You work in what you're already doing. Like if you're a medical doctor, you're still gonna work in healthcare. But there's something you do. Like I have a blog post about it. So for like 3 weeks, you go to somewhere they call camp. That way they are trying to like foster relationship between people. So people come from different areas in Nigeria. Plus Igbos, Yoruba, people from different tribes. So you make new friends. Actually, my best friend right now, I met her doing NYS. It's called the National Youth Service Corps. Like it's a program and stuff. So I was still like, creating all of that. So when I was done with the camp thing, I was now posted to work in it was like a clinic. So that was where I did and the program lasts for 1 year. So throughout everything, even when I was doing my internship, anyone that knows what it means to do your internship, your housemanship in Nigeria, it is difficult. You barely have a life because you're going to be the first on-call doctor. Your superiors you're doing all the shitty, all the crazy, because you're just starting out. And so, but I was still always trying to put out content because it's just, I can't really explain. When I'm trying to take pictures and stuff, right? People don't know how much joy just taking pictures. It's not like maybe you're so obsessed with yourself, but I just feel like this is something I really, really, really love. And then I have the long-term whatever. I'm just like, I'm trying to inspire people. I'm trying to inspire babes, young girls that even though you're a medical doctor, you're a career babe, you can still have time, to do other things. You shouldn't put yourself in a box. So people are like, oh, you're a doctor, you're so unserious. I've heard people tell me, how are you a doctor and you're doing fashion? You're so unserious. Is this how you want to be saving lives? Some people will even go, some people, not just only for me, it's a general thing, doctors are all about fashion. When do they have time for fashion? When they should be reading their books? Be careful, your life is not safe, whatever it is. And I'm just like, people are just so whatever. So I just kept on doing all of that. And then when I was doing my internship, that was when I just decided that, I feel like I want to take it to the next level. And thank God for provision, and thank God for having parents that are supportive. I love my father so much. I love my mother so much. And, so when I was doing my internship, I was like, you know what? Start planning for school. So that was just how everything happened. And then did you ask me that why did I choose America?
Yeah, why?
Okay. So I had options of, America or the UK, right? But
And were your sisters already living in the UK at that time?
No.
Okay.
So my sister studied in Nigeria. So I was just, thinking about it, the way it is in the world. People like America is the number one nation, stuff like that. And I'm just like, okay, for master's degree, what? America has so many opportunities. America has, like the best set of, doctors, professors. They have equipment, they have the infrastructure. I'm not saying UK does not have that, but I was just much more drawn to America. And then before then, of course, I'd been coming to America for holiday and everything. I just really liked it. So I was just like, no matter what, if I want to get a second degree, it had to be America for me. I just knew, even though I wasn't considering the financial part, but I just knew it was going to be America. But what I just did as well was that when I was trying to apply to America, I told you, I said it like, when I want something, I must get that thing. So I was also looking into the UK. But I just knew I didn't want the UK. So I was basically like, just dragging and everything. And then the pandemic. So I took after my internship, after my serving my nation, I got another job, so I was just working, and it was like a primary healthcare. So that period was the period where I was trying to get my documents, writing, GRE, which was not even so great. I'm not someone that is so good with mathematics. So like, oh, you're a doctor. I'm like, yeah, I'm a doctor, but I'm not good in mathematics. Like, that's not my main, whatever. So I had to write GRE twice, guys. I didn't get my desired score. I didn't even get up to 250.
What is the score?
So I think the highest is 320 or 310. I can't remember. And graduate record exam, like English, mathematics. I can't remember the other thing, but it's a requirement here in the US. Not all schools require it. And then when you do very well in your GRE, also you could get like scholarship opportunities and stuff, right? So I just wanted to try that out and just see what I'm not gonna lie. I studied for it, but my brain, for mathematics, I went for the exam. The first time I didn't, get, and it was funny because the two scores were kind of maybe just 10 points different and stuff. But I just said to myself, whether you have 200 and something or not, you're still going to grad school in the US. I did not know how it was going to happen. And I was like, God was going to provide, right? So that was I took 1 year to plan and do all of that. So for the UK, then the pandemic started. It was in 2020. So I'd gotten everything. So I had, options I was applying to different schools. Guys, I got loads of rejections, by the way. That's
good for people to hear, because being as hardworking as you are, people think that hard work negates rejection.
No.
And it's just not true. Like, in all aspects of life, you could work so hard on trying to date and find someone, and you could go years without it. You can, it's not always what it seems.
Guys, I was so sad because I was like, oh, maybe I'm not that smart. I'm not the smartest or whatever it is. I try my best. I will not stress myself so much, but I'll do things like I ought to do. But I was just like, oh my God. But I just kept on saying to myself, Bukki, you will go to America. Bukki, whether the devil likes it or not, Bukki is a short form for Oluwabukola, by the way. Bukki, you will go to America and stuff. And then when I got out for my, the second GRE exam, my mom called me to find out how it was. I was just crying. Mom, I can't believe that I didn't pass this GRE again and all of that. And she's like, don't worry. Is it for scholarship? God is going to provide. Don't worry, you go to... That's why, see, guys, it is very important to have parents that are supportive. And I really hope and pray that I am a really great mother, a really great parent to my future kids, because I'm going to go all out for them. I'm going to support their dreams and everything, because it just... when they know there's so much love at home and there's this, reassurance, this assurance, it just makes things easier. For example, if something happens, I know I can always call home. No one is going to say, oh, don't disturb me or whatever it is. I'm not trying to shame or I know things happen that people cannot have, their parents around have the best, but I'm just... every time, I'm saying it right now on Renee's podcast, even I say this on Twitter, I'm quite active on all social media platforms. I'm always so thankful for my parents, for my father, for my mother, for my siblings, there's just, because there's also so much love at home. I cannot just tolerate nonsense. I can't just, just live my life anyhow. Like, my parents, I owe them a lot. They've always been there, stuff like that. Let's not just, so that happened. And then I was applying to the UK. I even got admission offers. Even in the UK, I got like maybe 2 rejections. And I was like, like, how? Like, why? Like, as an MD, stuff like that and everything. I kept on praying. And then when the pandemic started, the US embassy was shut down in Nigeria. I was like, oh my goodness. The year I'm supposed to go to America, like, how am I supposed to do it? Like, do you understand? And then as the year was just, going, I was like, okay, I needed to now decide, because the UK, you needed to decide on time. What's it called? School was going to resume, I think, sometime in September. And even America, I was supposed to come for the fall semester. But because of the whole, the embassy not being open, we weren't sure when that was going to happen. And we had some other issues in Nigeria that the embassy was just like, taking their time and stuff. Yeah. So I was like, God, I needed to make a decision if I was going to go to the UK or the US. And the only thing that's going to be holding me back, because I'd already gotten admission to the US. I had admission from 2 schools. One was in Chicago, University of Illinois at Chicago, and then University of New Haven here in Connecticut. And the funny thing is, I had 2 friends at both universities.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So if I had gone to Chicago, I would have been fine. If I had gone to, coming here as well, I would have been fine as well. And I didn't even know that one of my mom's oldest friends, that was kind of like her best friend, but I didn't even know she was in Connecticut. I did not know. But when the opportunity came for both, I was trying to decide, where I was going to go to, because you have to decide, and that was how you're going to process, to go for your interviews and all of that. I prayed about it. For some reason, I was just so sure, just on 100%, that I needed to come here. Like, I needed to come to Connecticut. I didn't know why, whatever. And of course, like, my school is a private university. It was not as big as UIC, or not as popular as UIC. Most people would go for the name, stuff like that. But I just was like, I'm coming to Connecticut, right? And maybe also because I was praying about, like, I want somewhere that, there will be opportunities for me as well as an influencer. There will be opportunities everywhere, right? But and then I came to Connecticut, and, it's been, so before then, I'm sorry, I'm just all over the place. The embassy was not yet open.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was now trying to decide if I was coming to America or the UK, because I didn't want to just stay an extra year back in Nigeria. I wanted to be out, like, get me out of this place, And then I just, slept, dreamt, and I just saw myself, at the embassy. Maybe this is not so, I don't think I've told anyone this. Maybe just a few of my friends. I can't remember. I just saw myself at the embassy, at the American embassy in my dream, and I got my visa. So that was the confirmation I needed. And then I woke up the next morning. I was so excited. I was so happy. And I was like, I come out, Mommy, I'm going to America. It doesn't matter how long it takes for them to open the embassy. Let's just let's not focus on the UK. So the person that was helping me, just like, oh, don't worry about it, I won't be going to the UK again. And that was how I came, to America. So I got here in January 2021. And before I came, I had created a lot of content before coming, because I was like, God, I'm going to a new place. I might not even find a photographer soon. I didn't even know how things were going. So I'm someone that likes to plan. So I created content. I was going to be posting, one after the other and stuff. And then I still had some content, but honestly speaking, I really wanted, so I had to settle down and stuff. I just really wanted that I had someone to start working with, creating content and everything. Just putting out fresh content. You're already in America. You have to give people American style. You have to give people like American fashion and everything and stuff. And then one of those days, when Rennie reached out to me, there was a friend of mine. She was to take my pictures, right? Not professional, like with phone and stuff. Just because the truth is, you have to make do with whatever you have. I didn't have a camera then. She didn't have a camera. I didn't have a photographer then. So we're just going to create content, and I was still planning with her. But I didn't even pick the date, and maybe God just saw my heart and saw what I was thinking. And that's what they always say, God knows what you need exactly when you need it. I'm Christian, by the way. Exactly when you need it. And then Rennie just got this DM. about creating content.
Slab
Just leave it. And I went through it. I was like, hell yeah, yes, I was going to like, create content. Not like I was desperate, right? But at the same time, I just was like, yeah. And then I felt at peace. I felt good about it and stuff. And then I told my sisters, my best friend, that, I was going to create content with this, photographer. I just shared her page with them. Like, I'm going to create content and everything. And my sisters were like, you don't even know this. Like, in America, you have to be careful. You don't know anybody. Where are you going to? You're going to, please send me your details. My siblings are like, worried. And I'm just like, nah, you'll be fine. I'm not a child, stuff like that. And of course, like, I let them know, like, my whereabouts and all of that. So that was how I met Rennie. And the whole story about coming to America.
Short story long. Short story long. Okay, guys. No, that's what we love here on the podcast. Is long form content. All that short form content can stay on TikTok and Instagram. But this is for the chats. The chats. Yeah. So, okay. So you made it to America.
Thank you, Jesus.
Made it to America, baby. And so you got your own apartment, you settled in, you started making connections. How long after you made it here did you start like networking? Because I feel like you were sent on a couple of things from CT Blogger Babes and you did a couple of like collaborations. So when were you shooting? No, you weren't shooting with people before I reached out to you. So when did that start?
When did what start? Like, when did I start working with people? And
on the influencer side.
On the influencer side. Okay, so one of my friends, right, her name is Yinka. I actually found her on Instagram before coming to America. I used hashtags. So the hashtag was just basically influencers in Connecticut, black influencers in Connecticut, and then a page popped on. I was like, oh, she's even Nigerian, and then I reached out to her. So I was just like, okay, you know what? Let me just reach out. Maybe she had more followers than me, and I was like, maybe she will respond. And luckily, she responded. And we were cool. And then I also like saw, I think maybe City Blogger Babes or maybe Noni's page or something. I went to City Bloggers Babe. I just followed. I didn't have like high expectations, whatever. And then when I started using like my location, West Haven, like some hashtags and everything. I think that was how like brands started like finding me and stuff. Of course, I did like so many like some free jobs, but taking free jobs were jobs like were things I was passionate about, like I was really interested in, and I've not gone to so many networking events here in Connecticut, but I don't know so many people here in Connecticut. Just you, Sarah, I know Noni, I met her at Yinka's wedding, and a couple of brands I've been able to like work with. So I don't have so many friends like on the influencer side here in Connecticut. Yeah. So it was basically after I think in April. So I got here in January. I think as soon as I got here, like I feel like people were finding me. I mean, some would reach out, they would not follow up and stuff. It didn't take so long, to be honest. It didn't take so long. I mean, because like I was already like creating content, and even though I was not working with a photographer then, I was still making sure to be active. I was still making sure I was posting on my stories. I was posting on my feed, posting things like random things. So I'm sure people use hashtags. People are watching on Instagram, so they're seeing all of those things. So I don't have so many friends here in Connecticut.
So I don't know if I even mentioned, but the series that we're currently in is The Process, right? So I'm breaking down people's process, whether they're a business owner, an influencer, a creative, whatever it is. I really want to know how they got there and how they're staying there, right? Not staying there as in you're not progressing, but staying there as in,
still in the industry.
You can maintain
it when you started. Yeah.
So I kind of want to know how you're able, like on a day-to-day, to balance everything. So, right now you're currently looking for a new job, but when
Please, God.
It went wrong. Please try again.
It's your phone.
Oh, that is so...
I just want to know how you're able to maintain it all. Like, what does a week in Bukki's life look like when you have a job, you're in school, and you're content creating? Like, what is the day to day?
Okay, so to start off with, one thing about me is I make sure to plan ahead. Guys, I always have a to-do list. My brain is always working because when things come to mind, I'm writing them down, like, my phone notes and stuff. So for example, now a typical day in my life, like with a 9 to 5, because I've worked like 9 to 5. Of course, you wake up in the morning, you say your prayers and stuff, you go to work, and whatever it is, when you're done with your patients, you head back home. If I know like I have a job, maybe I have a deadline. When you work with brands, they want you to do stuff. If maybe I wasn't able to do it on the weekend, or it depends on how urgent or how soon the brand wants me to post it. Sometimes I'm coming back from work and I know I have to get this job done. I switch to creator mode immediately. Do you understand?
Yeah.
I create my content and stuff. But of course, if I don't have things that I have to create for brands, I make sure my alarm is always ringing. Okay, at 2 o'clock, you have to post on Instagram. And when you're posting on Instagram, you're posting on TikTok, you're posting, before I joined TikTok, you're posting on all other platforms. And then one thing I also try to do is the period I'm posting my content, I try to make sure it's a time where I have maybe an extra time. So I take out like 1 hour after posting to engage with my followers, because you're also it's a community. Like I'm not a celebrity, right? So I try to and when people comment, share, respond and stuff like that. But typical content creation for me is always weekends, except I do it during the week if it's something that is urgent or something has to go up, like even if it means creating into the night, even midnight. I'm sure you watch my story. Sometimes I'm up.
Bukki will be like at 2:30 a.m. Let me take a nap, and I'm like,
like I'm just always doing stuff. But if it's like the weekend, I would have planned my looks and everything. Of course, there are times you're just chilling. You're planning, okay, you're shooting this weekend, right? Plan the outfits with your photographer, whatever it is and stuff. This is like maybe possible locations. With Rainy, I don't have to worry about locations because she sorts all of that out. Just I try to get most of my work done. Weekends, and then I still also try to have hang out with friends, have a social life and all of that. But since coming to grad school, that was back in Nigeria, yeah. But since coming to grad school, yeah, it's been just school, and I'm home most of the time. Like I said, I don't have so many friends. I don't even have friends because I don't just use the word friendship just anyhow, lightly. Yeah. I take my friendships seriously. So if I say you're my friend, then you're my friend, right? So most times, like I'm home, and then grad school, I attend lectures in the evenings, not every day. So maybe like 2-3 times at most, a week, like depending on the number of courses and stuff. So sometimes during the day, I can decide I want to create content. Weekends are usually free. And doing all of that, creating my content, I'm also making sure that I am getting my assignments done, submitted on time, because my father is the one sponsoring me, and it's a lot of money. So I can't even afford to just be on serious, right? And one thing again is there is time for everything. So I can't say, okay, I want to create content now and abandon my books. No. Even if I don't have content, and because I always plan, I never run out of content. Sometimes me and Rainy will shoot maybe like in January, and I'm just posting content from January in June. And who's gonna know? No one is gonna know. So basically that's how it works. So it's been, proper planning, making sure like in order of priority, in order of importance, and then someone cannot just come, because I plan, no one can just come, oh, Bukki, come and hang out there. No, I will not go. I have to make sure, check, okay, what my schedule is like. Even if it's time for me to sleep, guys, I set my alarm, sleep from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock. Once it's 7 o'clock and the alarm, I'm up, because I know if I do not do other things I have to do, it's going to suffer for it. Do you understand? And I like to get my stuff done. But of course, there's some days where, you just want to relax. You just don't want to do anything. And that way you can do that because you already have content.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So that's how it is for me, basically. Like planning, having to-do lists, going to school when I have to, do my assignments when I have to, and in all of this as well, I still try to be like, People don't know that I do a whole lot, because content creation itself is a lot, and I still try to be like, a good friend, a good sister, a good daughter, and just try to be there for my own self as well. It's a lot of work, but I think proper planning has helped me stay consistent. Proper planning has helped me, just make things easier for me. It is not so easy, but proper planning, that's how I've been able to navigate everything.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
And I say it all the time. Like, people are always like, Rennie, you gotta stop. You gotta work less. You gotta take more time off, more vacations. Put the phone down. Put the camera down. But like Bukki, I batch content constantly.
Yeah.
I'm also a photographer by nature, so I love to capture moments. It's my whole identity is to capture moments.
People don't understand. I love to create content. Like, people around me they understand, but I'm just saying, like, a stranger, someone random to me doing my things with my phone, they don't understand.
The tripod.
And then, guys, you're also thinking of your long-term goals, right? That has kept me going. If you're thinking you want to, whether you like it or not, we're looking for money, right? As much as I want to inspire people, I also want to make enough money from influencing, from being a content creator. You can turn your passion, you can cash out from doing something you're passionate about, right? See the likes of Jackie Aina, see the likes of Patricia Bright, like black creators we know how they started.
God.
I know.
Patricia Bright, I haven't watched her in it seems like years.
Actually, they're making money from influence, and I'm just like, I'm passionate about this. I have all it takes. I can make money as well. I can show babes, I can show girls that you can do everything. You can still cash up, because wealthy people have more than one source of income. So my 9 to 5 is a source of income. Content creation is also another source of income. Aside from creating content, I could also work as a model, because thank God I have been blessed with the face. So that could also be like my third source of income. So people don't understand. You know what they always say, that you're the one with the vision, right? People might not understand what you're doing. So people even be like, you're creating content too much. Must you create content? Of course, there's time for everything. Like when you're with people, of course, but you still create content, right? Because that's basically what you're passionate about, what you do. Just and I'm thinking of your long-term goals. I want to be able to sponsor people, do things from money made from content creation.
Yeah.
So those are the things that actually keep me going. And that's why I take my content creation seriously. I take it personal, and I really, really, really hope and pray that I end up with someone that's also going to be passionate, that's going to support what I do as a content creator, that's not going to make life difficult for me, because booking and content creation is for life.
For life. I love that. It is definitely for life for me too, and
you do a great job. Oh, of course.
So, I mean, planning is everything, and I say this all the time. Not everyone gets it.
Not everyone, and that's fine. They don't have to get it.
No.
You have to work hard. As you're working, you also have to work smart.
Yeah, and what Bukki said too, resonates with me so much. With, I no one can just hit me up and say let's hang out. It's never that. And I also think on top of all of our responsibilities, I mentally have to prepare. So if I know my work day is gonna end by this time, and I get to be in bed with my dogs and cuddling by this time, then you ask me to go out to dinner, I have no time to mentally prepare. No, thank you. I will be in bed, because my mind has already been so excited all day to get to that point.
Exactly.
Now I gotta get up, get dressed.
Really, we've been planning this stuff. We had how does 13th sound? What's your 13th like? Should we do it in the morning? You have to plan. You can't just leave your day. And you know what they say? It will fails to plan, plans to fail. So you have to properly plan. Yeah. So that's always really helped me.
So to end off the podcast, what's next for Bukki? What should they expect from you? What do you want to tell them about?
What's next for me? I would say what God wants for me, right? Because sometimes you plan and it might not be what God wants for you, but now that I'm done with grad school, I finished grad school December. I got my master's degree in public health with a certificate in health informatics, all A's. No B.
Come on.
So it's basically MD MPH now. I am really
Talk to
interested.
him.
Yeah, I'm really interested in doing project management in healthcare. So I'm currently in the process of searching for a job, right? I want to get my desired job. God, please have mercy on me. Like, so that's what I'm doing right now. For start to work, have the American experience, travel as well. I traveled like so much in the past year, and that's something I really want to take seriously. This year, get to go to Nigeria. I've not seen my family in almost 2 years now. Yeah. And then content creation, to be honest, because I'll keep creating. Do you understand? Oh, and then I'm starting my YouTube channel. I want to start something I wouldn't use the word procrastinating. I've not been procrastinating, but I just didn't want to start when I was in grad school, because grad school is a whole lot of work. So I didn't want something like I'll start, I'll be inconsistent, I won't be able to film for the channel and stuff. So I'm starting my YouTube channel this year by the special grace of God. And then I'm starting the series with Rennie as well. So basically, it's just career development for me right now. If God says, man is going to come in the picture and it is time, then I'll welcome it as well. But basically, it's just me focusing on myself, getting my desired job, my desired 6-figure job. This is me also putting that out so that God knows I am so serious about it, and it brings me, it brings me my job. And yeah, so that's it basically. Just keep creating and then focusing on my 9 to 5 and traveling while also doing all of that, just trying to balance everything.
Yeah, I think it's important as women to not wait, right? So to wait to buy your first home when you have a husband, to wait to get into your career until you have met your person, to wait. We don't have so much time.
I love myself too much. And like I said before, when you have so much love at home, when like your family, right? There are things that would also like push you. Like for me, I'm also always like, apart from the fact that I want things for myself, I'm like, I have siblings. I'm the oldest. Like I cannot even afford to just do anyhow. Like I said, there's this responsibility that comes. Like you have to lead by example, right? So I try to like people, and then I see people do some, like people are doing things. Women are doing big things. I cannot just sit down, right? They keep me motivated. I'm on my toes. I'm trying to, okay, how can I be better for myself as well? Like I want to, if God willing, I would love, so I would not want to wait for a man before I buy my first car. I would not want to wait for a man before I buy my first house. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's why you have to keep, like, women empowerment is very important. And then you yourself, just, what do you really want to do? What do you want to get out of, like, what do you want to do? Like, then just focus on it and just keep.
Because obviously, like, that is a goal for me and Bukki.
Yeah.
Like, we are monogamous mommies, right? We want to be in a committed relationship, but...
And spoiled, right?
Yeah,
yeah, spoiled, pampered, princess treatment only.
Only. So, I think that also comes with, too, something that we do really well is treating ourselves like a princess. So, it sounds so juvenile to say, but treat others the way, like, you want to be treated. But then vice versa. You have to treat yourself the way you want others to treat you.
Yeah, sometimes we focus on how we treat people, but how are you treating yourself? You have to, I'm like, this year, I have to be selfish. I've always treated myself well, but this year, like, anything, it's me. I've given enough to people.
Oh my God, yes.
Now this is me time.
I say it all the time, and like I don't mean to be rude, but for example, like going to see my family on a day off, right? That entails whether I'm going to Jersey or whether I'm going to Brooklyn. That's 4, sometimes maybe 6 hours in the car. Then I spend 4, maybe 6 hours there. That's not a day off for me.
It's not no.
That's a full day. But that's what I'm taking as my day off so I can go see my family. So as of recently, like my little brother, he was like, oh, I have to work on applications for college. I was like, perfect, fine. I stayed in bed all day. I stayed in bed all day. I went outside twice, took the dogs to 2 different parks. But I was like, thank God. Like, I would have loved to spend time with my little brothers, but having the whole day cleared and, being able to just relax for me. I don't give myself that time enough.
Sleeping is even very important. Just being in bed. There are days you just have to be late. You say, today is for me. I'm not doing any other thing. And by the time you end the day, you feel refreshed. Even if you've done nothing, you just feel good and much more better.
Yeah, just, rejuvenated.
Yeah.
Like, you just have to recharge, reboot.
Yeah. And then recharge. I'm an introvert. I don't like to be with people, So once I've smiled and smiled, laughed, enjoyed with people, I just want to go home.
Yeah.
I need to recharge, right? So when I have time to just be by myself or just focus on me, best believe I'm going to make sure from that morning, making myself a nice breakfast, eating, scrolling through social media and all of that. Like, it is my time.
Yeah.
It is my time.
Yeah. I love it. So be on the lookout for R&B experience.
Yes!
I'm so excited. Rennie and Bukki, we are taking on states. We are taking on, different sceneries, different situations. I'm trying to find all the S words. But we're trying, restaurants. We want to go on staycations at different types of hotels. We want to do it all. We want to experience it. And, we want you guys to experience it with us. We're focusing on Connecticut first.
For now, first.
Because this is where we are in our life. And
I feel like Connecticut is just, I love it here. Trust me. There's so many hidden gems. There are so many that people don't even know about. So this is going to be our job. We're going to be.
And I'm excited because there's going to be hidden gems that we don't know about.
Yeah.
So that's going to be exciting too, because, it's one thing Bukki was saying earlier, like, our go-to is like, let's go shopping or
City
food.
Post Mall,
Yeah.
Food or just shopping.
Food, shopping or shooting. So it'll be nice, like,
to do other things.
Other
apple
activities.
Picking, astroing,
Yes.
boat cruise, like so many things. Yeah.
We're going to do it. But thank you so much, Books, for being on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
I know your followers really want to get to know you more, and I thought this would be the perfect place to just have the floor and get you comfortable for your YouTube channel that's launching and everything like that.
I honestly cannot wait for that. Like, I'm ready to speak more.
She's warming up the vocal cords for you. Yes. So I will have all of Bukki's links down below, her blog, her Instagram, TikTok,
Thank you.
Everything. And if her YouTube is up by then, we'll put that down below as well. So I will see you guys in the next episode of The Process. And I will talk to you guys later.
Thank you. Bye.